everyone. Welcome once again to Health and Family. We are talking road safety today. I've made no secret as to how I feel about some of the driving habits I have witnessed of late. They are alarming, to say the least. What can be done? Can anything be done? Joining me to discuss the dilemma is Road Safety Chair Mr. Dennis Lister III, as well as Ms. Rachel Robinson, who is currently the Road Safety Officer with the Bermuda government. We welcome both of you to Health and Family.
Thank you so much.
So I'll start with you, and you can tie in if you want to.
Sure.
What is the overall mission and vision of the Bermuda Road Safety Council?
Ms. Burgess, this year the Road Safety Council, what we did, we introduced for the first time a vision and mission statement of the Road Safety Council. And that vision is to create a safer road culture that promotes positive driving and riding practices, creating smarter road users and saving lives. So we set, brainstormed, and created that vision that we want to see happen in Bermuda. And our mission statement is to educate the public with effective tools to reduce collisions and road fatalities.
Okay, are we going to address another question about the clinics? Because I'm just wondering, I'm just trying to visualize how that's going to look. Is that going to happen? Because what I'm seeing right now, guys, I'm going to be honest, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but what are you guys going to do to try and make that a reality?
Well, we have to be optimistic.
Yes.
So to be a pessimist, it comes from a place of reality. But if we want to see the change, then we have to be optimistic. Okay. So what was instituted was Operation Caution, and that is the Road Safety Plan, 2018 to 2023. So a lot of that is going to be re-educating. Mm-hmm. And you did mention the clinics. I don't know if that's something that you wanted to go into depth at this point. Sure. But it is something that we came up with in a general management meeting, a middle management meeting at TCD. And I had suggested as part of our initiative to make awareness that we were going to have free clinics. And it'll take place once a month, and everybody at TCD is on board. So persons like the traffic safety officers, the clerks, myself, Chair Lister, somebody from the Water Safety Council, mm-hmm. either the director of TCD or the assistant director of TCD, we're all going to make ourselves available once a month for about an hour and a half. And so people that can come, share their concerns, offer solutions, and even get information as far as what do they do when they come TCD. Mm-hmm. Because we want to make the process of utilizing TCD as seamless as possible, but we also want to have ongoing dialogue about what we can do, because it's not just up to myself and Chair Lister. So we have to have that shift that everybody can be a part of, and that's just one of the ways that we're looking to have that.
And I do want to jump in, Ms. Burgess. You start to say that you don't see things changing, but
I'm not trying to be negative.
No,
okay.
I'm agreeing
sure
with
you hear this.
Right.
Yeah.
But what it is we're seeing a slight change in the culture towards, especially which was Bermuda's biggest problem, was drunk driving. So what we've seen, and it's why we're wearing the buttons today. Okay. It's last Christmas we started the designated driver initiative. So if you and your friends are going out for the weekend, choose one. We're making it cool to be the person that doesn't drink that one night, because if you go with your group of friends, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can alternate. You know, tonight's my night. Okay, I'm designated driver. You guys have fun. I'll get us home safe. Tomorrow night, so no. So that there's bringing back being it cool, not being not drinking, and also we saw with last year everyone, and that is a button for you also. Everyone complained at first, but we've seen it effective. It's the roadside sobriety checkpoint. So when they first came,
it's actually becoming norm now, which is good.
It
yes,
is.
It
so
is, yeah.
that's to our mission statement of changing the culture of drunk driving. So people are now taking that alternate decision of rather just going out, usually drink and then go home. Now whether it's some nights people don't, even if the roadside sobriety is not out, people ask me all the time, even though I don't know when and where they're going to do it, is it out this week? People message me, I'm like, no, but it's just in the head to be careful of that. Right. So that also, and even with Carnival weekend, the Road Safety Council, what we did was sponsor minibuses to transport people from pick-up and drop-off location to some of the events over Carnival weekend. So that right there is a whole change, because it wasn't even us. It was actually the organizer of carnivals that sort of initiated it, and we just got on board to say we will sponsor the mini buses. So, but it came to us. It came from both sides. So it's showing that they're catching on, and we've seen it with other events where people are saying, okay, we have to have a transportation plan in place. So that right there is changing the culture, and we've also seen it with statistics of accidents. At present, right now, we have 5 fatalities for the year, which we're going to the month of July. We're sort of under 1 per month, so that's pretty good for Bermuda, and hopefully that trend can continue. And that right there, overall, that is sort of how we'll judge our successfulness. It's the reduction in accidents, but also the reduction in fatalities on our roads.
That's true, because it usually, when I was calculating it, it turned out to be like 1 per month. So yeah, that's pretty good.
The average is 11 or 12 a year. So right now we're just under. So hopefully it stays.
Rachel, if you don't mind me calling you Rachel, Ms. Robinson. So we do go back. You have been the road safety officer for how long?
I was officially appointed May 1st.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, you did I'm thinking about the art competition sponsored by Rubis. You want to talk about it for a little bit?
Sure. It's been a few things that we've able to get underneath our belt. We've seen huge improvements in the Project Ride program. We can talk about that in detail because that is a passion. Because in the capacity of the road safety officer, I am also the Project Ride coordinator. But specifically with Rubis, it was initially the brainchild of one of their employees, Angel Smith. She wanted to see the calendar take a paradigm shift to address kids. Well, that's all you needed to say to me. And it just so happened that I mentioned that same idea to Chair List. And he's like, wait a minute, I just had this conversation with somebody at Rubis. So we amalgamated, and it has been on fire. We currently have City Hall displaying our children's artwork, and the artwork was, or the theme was, what does road safety mean to you? And when I tell you, kids have come with slogans that if you sat around a round table at an exempt company, we would have paid them $300 an hour to come up with these slogans.
So can you give me one, if you remember any? One of them.
There were so many, but I will think of one by the end of the day.
And if I remember correctly, it was, don't drink wickets or you'll get a ticket.
Love it.
And
I mean, they
it
have
blows
done
your
some
mind what they
amazing
came up
things.
with.
So we ended up with 178 entries, and we're going to be judging over the next 2 weeks. The good news is that the children's artwork will be displayed in the Rubis calendar, and they have a circulation of about 17,000. So the children's artwork will be displayed. So let's just say you have a niece that won for St. George's Prep. And their work is going to be displayed for the month of March. Well, for the month of March, they're also going to have a tag day. 100% of the proceeds, Rubis has said that 100% will go directly back to that school. So we're going to have the children's artwork displayed, and it's an opportunity for the schools to make additional money.
And also for the public also,
I feel the
for your
excitement,
engagement.
I know, right?
The public will also get a chance to vote. There will also be a panel of judges to select the winners, but a popular vote, because again, if you have a niece, a nephew, a grandchild that participated and you want to vote for their artwork, you can come out and there will be a popular vote by the public on the artwork.
Okay, so that sounds really, really good, and I'm happy to see that's coming along. Wouldn't expect anything less from Miss Rachel. But seriously, what is the general feel of road safety in Bermuda? You heard my intro, and I really thought Al was going to say, no, we can't go with that, but that's the way I really, really feel. I'm negative about it. I mean, I drive, you saw me the other day, and I'm like, I am a nervous wreck driving in Bermuda. I shouldn't be. 20 miles per hour, something's wrong with this picture.
And that's your experience. And unfortunately, it is the experience of most. We have a lot of work to do. And I don't know if I'm going out on a limb, but we as a culture, we are risk takers, and we are not calculated risk takers. So we do a lot on our roads that's completely unnecessary. We don't take into consideration other road users. We don't even know the laws, and if we do, we don't even apply them. So again, it goes back to the awareness and the part of the curriculum that we're trying to implement. Not trying, we will implement a school-based curriculum. We're going to push the Project RIDE program. We're going to reteach or re-educate the ones that have been on the roads that don't know certain rules and regulations. So it's going to take us step by step, but it's also going to take that ownership. Ownership is going to be a big part of it. And I guess in our role, because I'll be honest, even before this role, I didn't look at it as I didn't scrutinize it as much as I do now. I'm looking at it under a microscope, and I thought that we were doing okay, and then I really got a wake-up call, and it's like I see the kids overtaken on a pedestrian. I see the adults overtaken on a blind corner, and this is it. But you know what? Even when we know better, we don't necessarily do better. So we have to make everybody feel that this is our independent job, and it's the job of each of us to take care of each other on the road as well. So stopping for that kid that you see maybe going slow, not overtaking a tourist and making them feel so uncomfortable being on the road. So we're even going to try to get into the places that teach the tourists, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to offer my services to give them a really good lesson on what they really need to be doing to teaching our tourists. I mean, there's so many things that we had done. We hadn't had the Road Safety Week in about 7 years. Correct me wrong. We had the Road Safety Week. We had a lot of people come out for that. So we really are working at being hands-on and making the relationship personal between the Road Safety Council and the road users.
Okay. I know you're going to be leaving momentarily. Can you answer in about 60 seconds? What is the reason for a lot of accidents in your estimation?
In Bermuda, I would say the top 3 reasons would be inattentiveness while driving, speeding, and drinking or drunk driving. And that's why we've introduced the roadside sobriety checkpoints to address the drunk driving. There will soon be speed cameras to address the speeding, and with the inattentiveness, that requires accountability on ourselves. So as Rachel stated about the education and holding yourself to personal accountability, that's what we have to do. When you get in the car, don't be driving and want to play on the phone, play in the mirror.
That's still a biggie, gosh.
It is, and that's a #1 accident, because if you're driving at 45, some people do, and just 1 second to do something else, anything could happen, and bang, it's an accident. So being accountable on how you drive and putting your best driving behaviors while you're driving, practicing them.
Alrighty. I hope you feel better, and I'm sorry that you have to leave, but we do thank you for stopping on by. When we come back, we're going to meet Tricray Astwood, and he's going to give us the narrative of how his dad died in a bike accident. We'll be right back.
For you.
Move more, Bermuda.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again. It is Health and Family, and we're talking road safety. And Road Safety Chair Lister decided to stay on. And another person has joined us, Mr. Tricray Astwood, and he's here. We want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
20-something years later.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So your dad, unfortunately, died back in '96. You want to give us a narrative on that?
Yes, so basically it was one morning. I remember my mom and I was out getting last-minute school supplies because it was early September. And she got a phone call from his secretary at his job saying, you have to rush to the hospital. And so we didn't think much about it, broken arm, maybe something like that. Then she called again. So then I think my mom was thinking, ICU or something. Still, death hadn't crossed our minds. So when we got to the hospital, we go to the front desk and say, we're here to see Craig Astwood. And so, you know, the lady's in the computer typing, and she like kept going on, like, what's going on? And so she hesitated, and so she was like, well, just have a seat in this room over, her doctor will come to see you. So that's kind of where we got a little nervous, like wondering what was going on. And so then the doctor came in and just looked at my mom and was like, Mrs. Astwood, sorry, your husband just died in a, you know, road fatality. And so it was traumatic. I mean, I can't really remember everything. I just remember, you know, within like minutes, the room was flooded with family and stuff. And basically, the actual deal that happened, though, was he was on his way to a meeting at my church. And I guess, well, as he was traveling on South Shore Road, a van thought that she can make it into her turn. So I guess it was like that. And she tried to turn into her gate, but instead hit him. And he died on impact, unfortunately. Yeah. So
I actually remember that because I was your P4 teacher, and I remember you coming back to school, and you just had this look of sadness and this aura of sadness around you, and you're usually very happy-go-lucky, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you just told me, and just remember you just crying. So, but you've you know, you really, did you put all of that into your singing career, do you think?
Definitely, and my dad loved music too.
Yes.
So he used to always sing around the house. I wouldn't say that he was the best singer, but he was cool. He was good, you know. And so I think that was definitely part of the inspiration. But of course, all of my life stories and journeys and all that I put into my music. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I so remember it was my second year teaching, and I just remember you, and I said, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think the whole staff, it was such a big family, we really wanted to just reach out for you.
Yeah.
So are you now more aware of your own driving habits as a result?
Most definitely. I mean, I remember afterward, and a lot of people didn't know this, a lot of my friends even didn't know this, I was scared to get on a bike. Like, so, and we shouldn't. I don't advise anyone to do this, but a lot of teenagers try to ride before 16, and so, not me. I was deathified. I was so terrified to get on a bike because of that. Right. But of course, as a boy, you're supposed to be hard, and you should do that. So I would keep it in or try to avoid it, you know. But I did do Project Ride, and eventually did get my license through that way. But to this day, I'm very careful and cautious, and I could care less of what anyone says. You know, I have a personal story as to why I would drive safe and ride safe, because it does hit home. My father died from it, so it's real, you know. And so I recommend everyone to follow the rules of the road and just be mindful, you know. Be mindful, because you can change not just your life, but impact a family, you know, yeah. So it's and
that's it. You know, you can hurt yourself, but what about the other folks on the road?
Yep.
Junior Minister Lister, I wanted to find out, like, which vehicles are involved more in the accidents on the road, or?
Officially, there are not any statistics on which vehicles are more, whether it's bikes or cars. But the same message is just wants to be safe, whether you're in a car or on a bike. On a bike, you're more exposed to, if you get hit, you don't have as much protection around you. Right. But in a car, it's just the same. You know, you heard stories of people being trapped in cars also. So it's just about being safe, whether you're in a car or on a bike, and make sure that, again, it's not just yourself, but looking out for those around you. Because as just mentioned, you can affect others. So what you might think is something simple, let me just overtake on this corner, and next thing you know, car comes and you've messed up your life and someone else's. So it's just being about accountable for your actions, but also just thinking about everyone that has to be on the roads while you're driving or riding.
So what advice can we give to folks that are driving, you know, just trying to get to work? I know there's rush hour going and coming. What advice can you give to us?
What I want to say is being safe starts before you get in the car, because if you are rushing to get to work and you're late and you hop in the car and your body is and your mind's just going.
Can I say it?
You
get up earlier.
You heard it from her. So it's just about being prepared before you get in the car. So let's say you take your time, and what I would say is before you even put your key in the door, take 3 seconds, count to 3, calm yourself, collect yourself, get in the car, because that way your mind gets a chance to focus on what you're doing. And then you can calm yourself, drive out, and that right there sets the tone for your drive. Because if you get in the car and you're amped up, and some people, you know, you get the road rage, or you're behind a car that's going slow, and, you know, all of those type of things affect our driving habits. So again, if you calm yourself, get in the car, and always remember to, again, be wise, be wary of those around you. You know, your actions impact all of those around you when you get in the car, because a car is a dangerous weapon if it's used the wrong way.
Good advice. And the speed limit, just for the record, is
35 kilometers, not miles.
That's
exactly.
right. It's not whatever I'm seeing.
Yes.
Yeah. You remember the video with the young boys driving through town on the opposite?
Yes.
I'm not talking about it, but I am.
Right.
So can you just talk on that for a little?
Well, as we've seen with social media in the past few years, you know, people have been capturing people doing different things on the roads, whether it's pop wheeling, whether you see guys standing up on the bikes or racing third lane, and all of it is bad driving habits and mostly illegal. For those people that are bike enthusiasts and like to do this, we would encourage you to go to the Bermuda Motorcycle Racing Club. You can do this on the track in a safe environment, or if you're more into the motorcycle supercross, you can do the supercross bike. So all of those activities, just in your young years, they seem fun, but anything can happen. You know, you can mess yourself up for life, because what a lot of people, yes, we hear about the fatalities, but we don't hear about the injuries, life-changing. So you have people that be paralyzed, or people that might lose a limb. Right. So those are the untold stories we don't hear, but those are people that have to live like that. The families are affected, the friends are affected. So one slight second of fun can alter your life forever. So that's what you have to think about.
Tricray, did you want to add anything to that as far as?
I agree with everything that Mr. Lister said. I mean, you have to really be cautious, be courteous, you know, be vigilant, you know,
That's a good
just
word, yeah.
look out, you know. Be careful, you know. I mean, our roads are small in comparison to most countries and curvy. So just be very cautious. I mean, you know, and don't show off, young people. Like my teenagers and all that. It's okay. We get it. You're 16. It's fun, but be smart, you know.
Right. Be smart. Good.
Yeah.
Now, back in the day, I don't know. I'm sure you remember. We used to have a popular talk show. People used to call in with numbers of the license plates. And I'm wondering, when you have your clinics, can we come to you with license plates and all that?
We actually introduced a email address so that people can, and it's not just it's for any traffic infractions. I know a big one that we've encouraged people to do is with heavy trucks being on the roads. Before 9 o'clock in the morning, heavy trucks shouldn't be on the roads, but we see a lot nowadays to hold up traffic. So what we do is encourage people, if you see a truck, you can email us, we can follow up, and with anything else. We don't encourage people to go, unless you have the GoPro hooked up in your car, but we don't encourage people to just drive around with a camera in their hand to try and catch people. But if
I'm gonna get somebody, I'm sorry, because it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
Yes.
You can't go around scaring people to death on the roads.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, at present, we don't have a name and shame per se. But what we want to do is
Can we
just
get one?
it's something that we can work on.
Okay.
Because again,
You can name
if
it
it's
after
personal, people will feel it more.
Yes.
You know, people see people speeding up and down all the time. But if someone gets a license plate and you can go and talk to that person, you know, you were seeing speeding or doing something reckless on the road, that has a more personal touch to them where they can say, you know, all right, I didn't think about it that way. If you talk to them properly. So it's a tool that we can work on and strengthen to use.
Okay.
Yes.
All righty. Thank you. We want to thank all our guests for giving us vital information on road safety. Road Safety Chair, Mr. Dennis Lister III, Ms. Rachel Robinson, who is our Road Safety Officer, and musical artist, Mr. Tricray Astwood of Last Call. Many thanks to our audience for joining us. We currently have 49,085 vehicles registered on our roads. Surely we can all share the roads together. We just have to do one thing, and that is to please slow down. The life you save may just be your own. Last Call is going to close us out for this program. I'm Shay Dawn Burgess. Thanks for joining us.